He turns to me after the jury's out and he says, "SueZann, if you ever say anything about the death penalty again, we will put you in jail for 6 months and fine you." And I'm thinking back on the equality, justice type of thing here, you know, and I'm going, wait a second. What is going on here? Who is on trial here? Who is the criminal here? It was a horrible experience for me. But I was still determined if I had to do what I had to do, I was going to do it. So from then on out, it was a drama in that courtroom. I was not going to put up with their crap anymore, the government. They were not going to get their way to take a life in my freaking name, my father's name, or anybody who was with us. On June 13th, 1997, I called it my day of victory because we're waiting for the verdict, the end, and it went from the first sentencing hearing, 10 out of 12 for the death penalty, the second one, 9 out of 12 for the death penalty, and the third one, we're sitting there and they say 8 out of 12 for life, not death. Yeah. Absolutely. I had such a smile on my face, okay? And it was 4 consecutive life sentences. So that was my day of victory. And as I tell people a lot, is I did not just do it for myself. It was part of my healing process to fight for life. But I did it for my father because I know my dad did not want this. I did it for God, but I did it for the most important person sitting in that room, James Bernard Campbell, that had nobody supporting him, nobody behind him, nobody with him. He had me, my family, and my friends behind him all the time after that. It was us. So we saved James Bernard Campbell's life. And after that, the lawyer went to him and said, James, would you want to, SueZann come and visit you? And he goes, no, I hate her, I can't stand her, blah, blah. And I figured out, what, I saved his life, he should be like, thank you or something. But he was so bent on still me surviving as the witness, because he blamed me for him getting that in jail, that he couldn't think straight. Until a couple years later when she visited him again, he said, yeah, I want to see her, but it was for the wrong reason. He said, well, maybe she can get me out of jail. So that tells you what kind of mental status he's still at. So I say to myself, well, my job is done. James Bernard Campbell's not going to get killed, I'm going on to the next one. And that's what we all are doing here today, and from now on, okay? I'm not going to stop. And I'm not going to stop and let these people get in our way anymore. It's not going to happen. I mean, one life at a time, if that's what's going to take, we're going to do it. My father said to me at one point in time, he said, why kill people who kill people to show us that killing people is wrong? I mean, how simple is it to understand? I think it's pretty simple. How simple is it? And in all those years when I thought, I always categorized James Bernard Campbell as a murderer, quote unquote. I said, if I'm going to help the government kill him, what would that make me? I would feel like a murderer too. And I have so many things to work on with myself, I don't need that behind me. And I'm not going to work with them on that. James Bernard Campbell's blood is not going to be on my hands, and neither is anybody else on death row, man or woman, child. They bleed the same blood that I do, it's the same color. They might have numbers, but they do have names. They do have souls. They are human beings. End of story. So from here on out, since we are going to abolish the death penalty, and then celebrate it here on these steps, in front of the steps.
On the steps.
On the steps. That's right. Amen, sister. We are going to do it until it's done. So I thank you very much and take care. God bless.
Coming over right now.
I think, is there any questions?
Oh yeah, does anybody want suggestions, questions, comments, correct me if I'm wrong, add something on, whatever you want to do. I don't know, even if you need a haircut after, I don't care.
Which hair? I got a whole bunch of them.
That might take me some time.
Forgiveness is really hard, isn't it?
Well, I guess I started categorizing it as being, say, sometimes a petty, something you have to forgive for, or a murder that was more complicated to me. I mean, they're not all the same, so I guess to me it was harder for the more bigger hurt that I had. Yeah.
How did the rest of your family feel about your feelings and what you were doing?
The rest of my family's feelings, well, that's an interesting story because I said to myself before I even asked them, because I've heard of stories of other people changing their minds, I said before I even asked them if they changed their minds, I'm still going to go on strong whatever I do. I understand, but I'm still going this way. But all of them are behind me except my grandmother, my dad's mother. And this is the interesting fact about it. I found out my grandmother died 6 months before that last sentencing. And I wondered all those years when I would go to, like when Bill and I met Bill at the Oprah Winfrey show. And before I went to any of these shows, my grandmother would say, SueZann, if you go to those shows, he will see it on TV, and when he gets out in 25 years, he's going to come and kill you. I think, oh, where the heck did she get that from? And I didn't know until she died, I went through her stuff, that the state attorney's office called her every week and convinced her that he was going to get out if he did not get the death penalty and come and kill me. He had my grandmother that was against the death penalty from the beginning before Dad was killed. She taught us to be against the death penalty, but he had her write all of her friends to have them write to the judge to give him the death penalty.
Oh, God.
So it was a horrible experience. I wish I would have known that sooner to help her, but I know to this day that she wanted, you know, to save James Bernard Campbell, but she was so, I mean, set with these people. I mean, we as victims are so vulnerable. It was so easy for them to talk her into almost, you know, that particular thing. So it was an interesting experience. But everybody else was okay. Yeah. Even though I do have friends and family that for the death penalty, they understand and they won't mess with me.
Right.
Any
other comments?
I have a question. Can you tell us about your visits with Jeb Bush? What happened? How they happened?
You would be better at telling those stories. Gosh, it was so long ago. Yeah, okay, he wanted to know about our visits to Jeb Bush. Our friend and buddy. What? Yeah, the both of them, yeah. Which he held in northern Florida, which was the only place that was the coldest of the cold, and we had to wait in line since, what, 3 or 4 in the morning outside? That was the second one. And when we finally got in there, it was either the vice governor or him that we would see. And it was an interesting experience because the first time when we got in there, when I was telling my story to him, he was very good and concerned and going like this until he found out I was against the death penalty. You felt kind of like a wall go up. So it was interesting after that of how he was, well, but this and that. So I can't tell all the details because you can remember them better than me. So you'll have to tell all of the experiences there. But the other one was, to me, almost the same. But it was interesting. Who else was with us in there at the second one? Hannah. You should be telling about it when you get up here.
I'm not getting up there.
Okay, I don't feel so bad.
Hey, come on.
So now what I was saying before is now that we don't have Jeb Bush anymore, we have Chris to deal with, and we're having some problems right now with, I don't even want to get into it because it gets complicated, but now you want to talk, right? But anyway, there's so many other experiences all over the world that we